Hey friends, as you probably have already guessed, I'm not from your generation. I'm a baby boomer, so I was born between 1946 and 1964, 78 million of us. And to that point in time, we were the largest generation in the history of our country. And everyone was talking about us. And then you came along.
41% of these millennials with a Christian background who have dropped out of church say they're not looking for a hipper version of Christianity. They're actually looking for a more traditional faith.
Because so many of them look at their faith differently. They're probably more tolerant in certain areas than we are. Some of that might be healthy, but a lot of it's not healthy.
Well, if you ask millennials what comes to mind when they think of Christianity, when they think of the church, they will tell you it's anti-gay.
Are we just not listening?
Anti-doubt. Millennials don't like words like never. Anti-woman.
It doesn't mean they're narcissists.
We all know what the church is against, and we really don't care what the church is for when you have that much baggage.
What is this generation looking for?
Authenticity, vulnerability.
And it's the wrong question to ask, because how is it that there's someone in your church who's 25, and at 25 now you're asking them to be part of your church?
Church. Some would say it's as American as apple pie, and I guess in a way it is. I mean, you go to the Bible Belt and there's literally a church on every corner. A report by the Pew Research Center in 2015 showed that 70% of Americans aligned themselves with some form of Christianity. Almost 6% identified with a non-Christian faith, and 22% of Americans counted themselves as unaffiliated with any particular faith. Now, the same poll was done by Pew in 2007, and that one showed that 78% of Americans said they were Christian. Enter the millennial. Millennial, the name for a generation that cannot be defined. Seriously, it can't. For much of the 2000s, as recently as that little Pew poll we were talking about, nobody has been able to define who or what a millennial is. Our generation either starts in 1980 or 81. It ends in 1994 or 96. Who am I? All this brings us back to the church's issue. Millennials don't like to go to church. Pew Research estimated that 35% of millennials are religiously unaffiliated, which has put the American church in a very, very bad situation, and it's scrambling.
Young, hip guy welcoming all with graphic tee and cool glasses. I welcome everybody with arms wide open, revealing my tattoo so you know I have a past. Quirky transition to band. Invite everyone to stand. Let's do it.
Coming soon to your town, a new kind of church.
None of it's worked. Millennials aren't going to church. There's been some research done on why and what can be done about it. The Barna Group and Cornerstone Knowledge found that in 2014, 67% of millennials preferred a classic church over a trendy one. They preferred a sanctuary over an auditorium, and they preferred a quiet service over a loud one. So why are churches doing the opposite? Blogger and author Rachel Held Evans said that to get millennials back, churches have to stop trying to make church cool.
It's not about making the church more hip. It's not about adding like coffee shops in the lobby and fog machines on the stage. It's not about pastors who wear skinny jeans and wear like Christian t-shirts ironically and use the word disrupt like a lot. It's about communion. It's about baptism. It's about confession. It's about healing. It's about death and resurrection and all the weird, beautiful things the church has always been doing. It's the stuff we already know how to do.
We wondered what millennials were looking for in a church, so we asked one.
I am recording. And I'm recording as well. All right.
I think authenticity is important in life in general, and especially in church. Because I think that's kind of what the church is supposed to be, where people come together and they don't have to hide who they are, but they can just be themselves and like be the broken people that we are, and like we're all like trying to support each other and encourage each other and just love and accept everyone for who they are.
We want to be heard and genuinely listened to. We don't care what kind of coffee you use, where you hold your service. We just want to be a part of your community.
Fellowship means community. Fellowship is important because that's kind of what, church actually is. It's not a building or, the coolest band. It's a group of people who believe in God, who follow Jesus, and they form a community together, a family.
The sad thing is, there's really no answer to this issue. Churches are quickly losing this generation, and the state of the American church rides on getting millennials back through the doors. To do that, the church is going to have to acknowledge that it's out of touch. It's also going to have to acknowledge that getting back into touch means more than making the service a show. It means getting with reality, and it means embracing others regardless of who they are.
Are really looking for is not a church that answers all of their questions, but a community of faith where they feel safe wrestling with these tough questions that related to science, related to sexuality. So I do agree that that's a problem, and that we need to do better at creating those safe environments so that folks don't feel like they have to leave the church to ask their toughest questions about faith, their toughest questions about how science and faith are compatible, or that they can find those places to have those conversations within the church. We need to create environments where we can have those conversations.
I think it's like a mixture of the church and also a mixture of my lack of commitment.
Millennials have to own up to our role in this as well. We're not lazy or entitled, but we do have commitment issues, which is why we get a new phone every chance we get. Those of us who count ourselves in the Christian club need to understand that no matter where we go, there's going to be flaws. And living life means living with those flaws.
No church is going to be perfect, no human-led institution is ever going to be perfect. But I think there are so many churches out here, and I think with the surplus of choices, it's difficult for millennials like me to choose one, because it's like, oh, there might be a better one out there. Oh, there might be, one that fits me better than this one. And so it's like, even if I liked one church, I'm like, okay, but next week I'm gonna try this one and this one. It's because we're so, I'm so scared that there's always gonna be something better. But at a certain point, I had to just be like, no, if I like this church, then I'm just gonna commit to it. And because I'm never gonna find a church or anything, or a relationship, whatever, if I'm not willing to commit.